We are back, Irish Red Devils, and it has been a very, very entertaining week, and I think, lads, Champions League football is now secured. I'm joined in the studio, as always, here on my right-hand side. We've got Gags, Madman, Martial. Killian, the football genius, is in Genius Corner, and we have an extra special guest in the house tonight. Say hello to Rory Campbell.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you for the welcome.
So Rory is lifelong Man United fan, and a local fella here in Armagh, but also after the debacle of the hair pulling incident last week, Rory's back around, and he's going to tell us now what he is. But I thought he'd be a great person to get onto the show and tell us things that maybe might wind us up. But Rory, listen, just before we get going, tell us a wee bit there about your background in the officiating side of things, just so people know.
Firstly, thank you for the invitation. Great to be here. It's like Disneyland for a United fan. So my background was playing and then referee, and then due to an injury numerous years ago, I moved into administration within refereeing. Current position is I am a member of the referees committee at the IFA. I do all football appointments in Mid-Ulster Football League and Mid-Ulster Football Association above intermediate level, all competitions. I look after grassroots observers, some call them assessors, within Northern Ireland. I'm responsible for quality control, all their reports. And I'm a liaison officer for referees that fly into Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And for UEFA delegates.
Oh.
So I will be away now in May for 17 days with referees. When they arrive, I look after them. So apart from that, I'm not involved in refereeing whatsoever.
Killian, were you looking to say something there?
No,
I thought you're trying to catch me, eh?
No.
Well, listen, Rory, it's great to have you get your. Obviously, you know, we've got you on tonight, a big United fan, and but it is going to be good because I do want to talk to you about some of the refereeing issues, because there seems to be a lot have been going on, and it will be interesting to get an insight to what the rules actually are, because nobody seems to know anymore. But listen, guys, before we get into that side of things, what are the thoughts, Gags, about the match last night? So we're recording this a wee bit different this week. Sunday night here at the moment. We thought that we don't want to have too big a gap between games. So what's your thoughts on last night's game?
You know, Sullivan, after the disappointment on Monday night against Leeds, you know, if you'd said before the Leeds game that we're playing Leeds and Chelsea and we would get at least 3 points, you know, you'd probably be like, okay, we're still moving. Desperately disappointed against Leeds, but the performance was so much better last night. A makeshift defence. Aidan Heaven totally grown into his role. I mean, he's a guy who hasn't really been used that much by Michael Carrick, getting like practically no minutes. And he really showed yesterday that he's got such ability. So it was fantastic. Look, it was a smash and grab by most accounts, but what a finish by Cunha. And, you know, fantastic again by Mr. Assist, Mr. Statman, Bruno Fernandes. Great ball, great work.
Do you know,
I'm just delighted.
5 games ago this season, is it 5 games ago?
Yeah.
5 games ago, he's 2 assists off the all-time record.
Yeah.
So he can definitely break that record, which would be brilliant to see.
Look, ultimately, we beat Chelsea and we're 10 points clear from them 5 games ago. Chelsea will not win their last 5 games. You know, we're not quite statistically there, but I think we can start booking our Champions League football and planning our trips for next year. So happy days. And just on a wee side note, just a wee side note, just a wee shout out to Mr. Garnacho. Do you know what I mean? Mr. Garnacho, you know, couldn't have happened to a better person. I don't think he's going to be staying around Chelsea much longer either. I think I don't know where he's going to go next.
There's a rumour he's going to be on the thumbnail of this podcast, though. Ooh. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Killian, what were your thoughts of it?
Brilliant get a win. I mean, after the disappointment and the very poor performance against Leeds, we needed something and it was never going to be easy at Chelsea, and that was proven last night. It definitely wasn't easy. You could even say we might have been in the back foot at times for large chunks of the match too, but to get a win there at Stamford Bridge, a ground which we usually do struggle in as well, is superb. That was our first double in the league over Chelsea in about 5 or 6 years too, which is massive as well. But the grit and the performance they put in there was amazing. The first half was a bit slow, but Cunha got the goal, which is brilliant. He made up for his bad touch earlier on in the game. But then the second half, Chelsea were mostly on top of us. They had plenty of good chances during the game. Chelsea, they'll really be kicking themselves. They couldn't get something from this one. But I thought as a defensive unit, we defended brilliantly. And in midfield too, we were excellent as well. So, yeah, listen, we didn't push on really in the second half. However, we kept Chelsea at arm's length. We just about hung in there. And, I mean, listen, it was a performance which, in my opinion, even though Chelsea had many good chances, was deserving of something from that one. So, yeah, listen, brilliant victory. Hopefully we get to see Champions League football. It's definitely looking like Champions League football will be returning to Old Trafford next year, which is brilliant too. And just one more thing, I just want to talk about Diogo Dalot, because Dalot this season and seasons gone past, I've been very critical of. That performance there, one of his best in the United jersey, completely locked up that Argentinian flop Garnacho. Didn't get a sniff all game, and a large part of that was because of Dalot. So listen, I've had my fair share of criticism in Dalot, but in that game last night, brilliant performance by him and locking up Garnacho. Fair play to him, love to see it.
Yeah, I think that the fact we had such a strange mix-up of defence last night, and you know, I felt like the older players did show up and did kind of protect the younger players. Rory, where did you watch it and what were your thoughts on it?
Sat at home, as usual, trying to make sense of it. Supporting United, it's been a frustrating season. And if somebody said to me in November, will you take 5th or 4th? Yes is the answer. And the frustration comes from when you watch them so many years. If we think the bottom 6 teams have all taken points off us this season, we've drawn with the bottom 6 and Leeds took 4 off us. But yet we've won away to Liverpool, to Arsenal, to Chelsea. We haven't done that since 1984-85.
Yeah, Fergie never did that.
No, never in his time did that. So when it's been a frustrating season, we beat City at home. But yet there's teams who are going to get relegated, taking points off us. We've lost 6 points to teams who are probably going to get relegated. That's frustrating. We take those 6 points from the Wolves and the Burnley draws, you stick them where we are now, you finished your home, you're 3rd place and it's all done. So the frustration comes from that teams we're expected to beat, we're not beaten, or we weren't beaten. And the teams that, like last night, I didn't think we would have went to Chelsea and won when I seen the defence. But they pull it out of the bag. But it's not consistent enough. That's where the frustration comes from. But the win last night, 1 shot on target, I'll take it. Without a shot of it, I'll take it.
It's funny, I'm just looking at the table here tonight, and obviously we're recording this at 8 o'clock Sunday night, so most of the games are over. Chelsea have actually lost 5 games in their last 6 in the Premier League. That's a terrible record.
I don't think they've scored a goal in the last 4, so they've got real problems.
Well, they did score 7 in the FA Cup. I think that could have been their last 4 games, but
I think the fans would have preferred those 7 goals to have been
spread out
over.
And they're only tied in points there with Brentford as well. So, geez, that game. Yeah. So we're away to Brentford next Monday night.
We're at home.
We're at home.
Yeah. It's at Old Trafford. Sorry.
Okay, I thought it was away. That's going to be a hard game.
It is.
Looking at Brentford there, so 1 win in their last 6, but then 5 draws. We'll have to do a wee bit of research on that and see what have they been doing recently. Genius, any ideas on that?
Well, they did draw 0-0 against Fulham in the early kick-off there yesterday. But Keith Andrews, Irish manager, he's done a brilliant job. They're playing good football. Igor Thiago, the striker, big bags man, one of the most prolific goal scorers in the league this year. And defensively, I mean, there's quite a good few defenders in there. Keller's been a revelation in that this year. Players like Collins in the back line too. Brilliant experience. And I mean, players like Damsgaard even as well in the midfield. Like, they've got a very fluid sort of style of play and can always catch teams in the break. I remember back when Amram was still with us at the end of September when we last played them, they beat us 3-1. And I just remember how good they were. I mean, like, we came back into the game a wee bit, I felt. However, we lost the game, well deservedly so. I thought Brentford were just so impressive that day, and they don't seem to have really let go of that form. Maybe a step throughout the season, but they seem to have kept that consistency throughout the entire year. So, listen, if any United fans are out there who think home to Brentford is going to be an easy game, they need to give their head a wobble, because Brentford are another side who have a serious chance of getting European football next year.
Yeah,
and I think Mbumo's been a wee bit off the boil the last minute. It wasn't as bad maybe last night, but the last maybe 5-6 games he's just been a wee bit. He's had such a great season first, in his first season. I think next Monday night against his former club, this could be the night for him to get back in the goal scoring form. I'm backing him next Monday.
Well, we've had our say on all the signings this year. What are your thoughts, Rory, on the guys that arrived last summer?
I think last year there was a lack of goals, and the fact we've got 56, I think it is. So we're scoring quite well.
58.
58, sorry. So we're scoring quite well. So the Coon's got 8 and Boom's a few. So we're scoring more than we did last year. And you
Spread out too.
think for the third of the season, we played that 5 at the back, and I think we weren't fluent in terms of attacking. It was very spontaneous forward approach play. It was counter-attacking football. You don't naturally score a lot of goals that way. I think what Carrick's done went back to what's tried and tested, the 4-4-2, play wide. And I think the goals have come from that. I think the guys who've signed have been okay. And I think more importantly, it wasn't what came in, it was come out last year. We had to move some of the dead wood.
Some of them are going to come back.
Rochford's due back 3rd of June.
We like to call them boomerang players.
Yeah, well, I mean, the comeback, I seen him last week and I thought he looked a bit heavy. Why he's eating a lot of Spanish paella food to what's happening, but he doesn't look as sharp. If we have to take him back, are we going to play him? Is there goals in him?
I don't think we can take him back. I think we talked about this.
But look, the good news is Sancho's out of contract, I believe.
Yeah,
so he's
God.
gone.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about him. He's gone. Unless they do something stupid.
I was going to say, unless they give him a contract.
Because I think we probably have the option of adding a year.
Probably.
Please God, they
But,
don't do that.
Again, moving on to Deadwood was good because we did sell Garnacho permanently, we did sell Anthony permanently. Hoyland, he wasn't permanent then, but he's permanent now. And you have got a good amount of money from that, and it was just from players who just wasn't working out. I mean, Garnacho and Anthony had their own attitude issues and just weren't good enough. Hoyland, I know you're a big advocate for Hoyland, and I mean, he's still a decent player. I just didn't feel like the Premier League suited him, and he's at Napoli now. He's had a very good season. I just think that Serie A football suits him a lot more. So
I still think Hoyland do a job first. Extremely young player. He'd only had one sort of breakthrough season in Serie A. His first season with us, he had a decent return for it. And don't forget, he was the only striker we had. And it's the same with sort of Shesko this year. We're still lacking a proper. Back in the days of
we're lacking a Danny
of
Welbeck.
York, Cole, Sheringham, and Solskjaer. 4 quality strikers. Even now, we've got Shesko. And then we've got number 10s, and we've got Bruno, Cunha, Mbumo, Ahmad. There's a real lack.
Sersky came in as well, and I don't think it's a centre forward. And the likes of the Leeds game where we're chasing a goal, he still wouldn't trust him enough to play him.
Yeah,
and
if you
like
can't
him.
trust him, what's the point in keeping him or banning him? So where does he go?
Yeah,
I actually was happy to see him come on the pitch last night. I actually thought I could have seen him coming on and getting something. Do you know what I mean?
I like Xerxes, but the thing is, if we do qualify for the Champions League, we need to
keep
really look,
players
because we need depth.
Yeah.
Now, we need new players, but we can't just let a load of players go and then replace them with the same amount. Because this team is kind of, look at our injury with suspensions, the trouble we're having, and we're playing the least amount of games since 1920s or something. So if we get into Europe, all being well, we do need players. I do kind of think Xerxes might be
Could I ask a
worth it.
question then just about the current squad and plus who are injured? Who do you see leaving this summer? From the played last night, who are in the subs bench, and those that are injured, who do you see leaving?
I think Xerxes is definitely at the door anyway.
Do you think so? Yeah.
I think he'll be. I think Roma's sniffing around him, so I definitely see him going to Roma.
Well, obviously we're losing Casemiro. We know that. It's a good question, because I don't think Mason Mount's going anywhere, because I don't think anybody will pay his money.
I've heard rumours Mizrahi could be leaving too. And again, Bruno Fernandes, you wouldn't know with him, but I think Bruno might stay on if it's Champions League football next year.
I think if we qualify for Champions League, he wants to. He's on a mission. And I think
if he was going to leave, he would have left last year. That was.
If we didn't qualify for Europe or Champions League, he may well have left.
Then if you look at the bench again, you got Bayendir, Malacia, and Ugarte didn't come on, but I think all 3 of them were.
Ugarte has to go. He has to go this summer.
Yeah, Ugarte's gone, and Bayendir will be sold for $500,000 or $1 million.
No, I would rather keep Bayendir and just make sure Onana doesn't come back.
Yeah, I think we need a new keeper.
Because he's looking to come back in the summer.
He will be back, because who's he playing for at the moment?
Trabzonspor.
Yeah, they're not going to keep him.
Have we not sold him yet?
No, he's alone. He's on loan.
No, he'll be put out on loan again, and we'll be still paying at least half his wages, because he's got another couple of years contract at least.
He's had 26 games in Turkey this year, and he's capped 6 clean sheets.
Well, that's good enough. They should keep him.
They should. Give him to him for free.
40 million.
But here, you're talking about 40 million. Isn't that what we sold Garnacho for?
Yeah,
And I tell you what, that was
the
good business.
best.
That was so enjoyable.
That was the best business any club done last year. When you look at it, like Garnaccio's just look. The guy had talent, but he's not. Yeah, his attitude. And do you know something? That was called out early doors. Who was our manager? Was it Solskjaer or somebody? And he left them out, and he mentioned something like he was, he had literally only broken in about 6 months.
Ten Hag.
And he said something. It was Ten Hag. I think you're right. He said something about his attitude. So there was just
the early signs were there, and then obviously the melting point was after the Europa League final. He speaks out against the club in Amram.
No, it's that was good. He was gone.
You know what made it sweeter, in my opinion? Garnacho completely underperforming, getting the piss take out of him by the players, the fans. Mason Mount coming on, getting booed by all the home supporters, and he made a big difference. Even though he only played a few minutes, and unlike Garnacho, he did nothing in the game. He was brilliant in the ball, just so composed, so controlled. That definitely does show we've done well with Mount. Chelsea haven't done well.
I like Mount.
He
I
just
like
needs
Mount.
to
I
stay
just wish
fit.
he could stay fit. But every time when he's fit and he's on the pitch, I like him. Like
I think the injury Mount has, it's something that you don't. It's like an ongoing injury that I don't think he's ever really going to be totally free from. So unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to see consistently appearing Mason Mount.
kind of reminds me a bit like Smudge, or wasn't it Smudge? Was it Smudge?
Alan Smith.
Alan Smith, yeah.
Smith is the same, yeah.
He kind of came to United.
Came from Leeds.
He came from Leeds.
I was a big fan of Alan Smith. I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
Hard, tough,
tough
And yet I hated him when he was at Leeds. I was like, oh, God.
Oh, of course, but the moment he joined us, I loved him. You know what I mean?
But he had injuries. He had
But he got a bad break, didn't he? Remember, he did when he was playing for us. I think he broke an ankle or something. I remember he was doing well, and he did.
Injury.
He had a bad injury, and then I think he just struggled. Once he came back from that, he just struggled.
We've always had a policy of taking Leeds players throughout the years. Gordon McQueen, Joe Jordan, Cantona.
Yeah,
they've never really went the other way.
Why would they?
Well, exactly.
Dan James.
Dan James.
Dan
James.
That's right. Yeah.
Another one,
But I thought, comparing the Leeds and Chelsea games, I thought a big sort of reason which seen us improve performances was many in midfield. Yeah, because against Leeds we were all over the place. There was no real structure, and Leeds completely tore.
But look
us
at
apart
what
in the
Leeds
first
said
half.
at the weekend. There, I mean,
Yeah.
Leeds are the team in form, and then Chelsea are not in form. So
I
But
do
again-
believe I said on their last podcast I mentioned Manu being, and I'm pretty sure the reaction in the room was.
no, he's better. I said he's better than Agorda. I give you that. Yeah,
He's better than a Gordon.
no, I don't know about that. I think that was an interesting question about who is currently playing for us, who's going to leave, and there's probably
God
less.
knows is the answer.
There's probably less than you'd maybe like. There's.
You probably have Rashford, Xerxes, Ugarte. Like that's your three main ones. But outside of that, I mean, it's all up for grabs.
I think it would be easier to answer who you'd like to leave, and the ones I'd like to leave. Well, obviously Sanchez going. I'd like to see Onana go. I'd like to see Rashford go. I'd like to see Ugarte go. And outside of that, and Casemiro's going. So that's 5 players there. Like outside of that, there with Champions League football coming on, and we want to stay in cups next year. I would now be. Is there any other players there that I think we need to get rid of? You talk about 8 managers Dalot, but
you could look at maybe.
But again, you maybe keep him for a season.
If you look at players like Dalot and Shaw, who are decent servants, and like even though if criticise Dalot, he still has those performances in him, like we seen last night against Chelsea. But like you could maybe look at new fullbacks and to make way for them, move sort of those players on. Like you could look maybe at a Lewis Hall, a left back, or a Kyoto from Brentford, a right back, and like. We do need to maybe bring in younger, newer players, in my opinion, in those positions. And because of that, you could move them on. I mean, I don't mind keeping them another year for a bit of depth, but you already have Dorgu at left back. You could have Mazraoui at right back too.
I think that's a good point. Yeah,
I think I've said before, I don't necessarily mind Dalot staying at the club, but I don't think he's a starter. I think I think if we want to improve, I think we need something better. And by all means, Dalot can come on and do a job. I just don't think he should be starting, But then there's plenty of players maybe that we can improve on, plenty of positions.
I think in reality, if you're talking 5 gone out, and
who do you think?
Champions League football, I agree with the names what you're saying there. But when you're in Champions League football, you take 5 out to replace 5, plus another 5. NES and Glazers aren't going to spend that on 10 players, and if they do, it's bargain bucket. and we shouldn't be bargain bucket anymore. And we've taken some big losses, Anthony and stuff like that as well. Donny Van de Beek and still got. We've paid money and we've took big losses financially. Will they bring in 7 or 8 players? I doubt it. I don't think the finances is there to do that. Unless and every time we go knock on the door for a Brentford or a Bournemouth player who's 15 million, suddenly he's 25 million.
The United inflation.
Yeah, that's exactly.
The only thing that will help our budget is if we get Champions League. That will.
Stop saying if. We are going to get Champions League. Put it this way: if we don't get Champions League, there'll be a riot, right?
Yeah, but
whenever Carrick came in and we got our first win, I confidently predicted, and I'm going to clip it up some of these days because I confident we were going to get Champions League football, and there was a few people in the chat, commenting saying I was delusional. Probably was.
The other thing about the unlikeliness that we're going to make like a significant amount of signings this summer is it's a World Cup summer.
Yeah.
So like United are slow at the best at times, and this time it's really going to affect it. There's a lot of talk. I actually think we need 2 quality midfielders, potentially 3. Ideally in an ideal world, I would love us to try, and it probably might cost too much money. I don't know how many years. I would love as a necessarily maybe not starter, but as part of the midfield squad or sub and all, James Garner, get him back. I think James Garner's had a great season. I don't mean starting, I mean as backup. I think he's proven himself in the Premier League, and I think he could do a job coming back to United.
It's a very left field situation to come out with that suggestion.
What age is he?
James Garner, he's only about 24.
Yeah, mid-20s.
Yeah. Now, we sold him, and I was going to say we shouldn't have sold him, and we probably shouldn't have, but I don't think he would have developed under us anyway.
No, he definitely would.
We don't develop players. We don't. It doesn't really happen. I mean, Kobe Manu is sort of developing. Give him that. I think he'd be good as. I don't mean he's one of our main marquee signings, but depending on how much we can get him for, I think he's quality.
I'll continue. I think maybe if there's 3 midfielders, if we were saying 3 midfielders, I would be looking for 2 starters and a backup. So I'd definitely be looking for Adam Morton. He'd be my main one. Then after that, either one of Tonali or Bruno Guimaraes, whichever one is happy to leave for us from Newcastle, I take them. And then for a backup, I'm looking at either James Garner or Alex Scott from Bournemouth. Now, Garner and Scott are 2 different players. Garner's more of a defensive, really hard-working player. Scott's more of a skillful, attacking-minded player. But regardless, both those players would provide depth and would definitely be very good players to come in off the bench and could even start some games too, and definitely be good for the future. But would need proper, solid, world-class midfielders in there. And I think Wharton's world-class, and he's good at both defensive work and moving the ball forward. Tonali's the same too. We need those sort of players. We've been missing them, I do think, a lot. And you maybe have it with many already, but you need at least 1, if not maybe 2, who are fit to start.
I think the key for what all those players you're mentioning is, I do think the key is that they need to be Premier League proven. I don't want us to be bringing in people from Europe and stuff. We've tried all that. Last year, I think the thing that did benefit was the fact that the players we brought in had Premier League experience.
Except Shesko and Lemans.
Yeah, well, Lemans. Let's talk a wee bit about Lemans. We actually got a wee bit of luck too, in the Chelsea game last night because they hit the post once or twice, didn't they?
Well, technically 3 times, but one of them was just clipped it.
Yeah, and Lemans has been a massive factor for us, but yeah, I don't know. I know how many players do come in though that haven't got Premier League experience and perform as well as he has. What did you think of Shesko last night? He was on the graveyard shift.
I was actually delighted that he started again. There was a lot of people calling for Shesko should be put back on the bench. I think the kid needs to be starting. The thing about it is he's a big lad. We're still not putting enough crosses in. Early cross. There should be down the wing and an early cross because that's what strikers thrive upon.
I think overall last night it was a tough game for Sasko.
Yeah.
He didn't do too much, but that wasn't really his
fault.
fault.
He did have a role in the goal.
Yeah.
If you look back,
was very good.
he actually who was marking him. Can't remember, but the ball came past him and he created that sort of space for the ball to go past. So he did have a role in the goal,
And he had a really good movement for the one that Cunha should have scored.
Yeah,
He went and then it dragged the defender with him,
so-
opened it up, and Cunha probably had too much time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Chesko this year?
I think he's about 14 stone, he's 6'2", and he gets knocked over. Leeds, for example, Leeds put him into the ground 15, 16 times, and he needs to be stronger. And the football's changed now. You don't so much hold the ball up for players to bring other players into the game. A bit of that goes on, and he doesn't do it enough. He's too weak. And we're talking about Ramos leaving, was it just like for like? Did we swap one for something that's very similar in terms of build, in terms of ability, in terms of age? I'm not sure what he brings. Now, I think he's a slightly better footballer than Hurling, but I don't know. There's not 20 goals a season in him.
He's still young though. How many goals has he got?
He's
done well for a first season in English
first
football.
season.
What he had 10? What he?
I think he's
He's definitely got 10.
I'll tell you now. He's currently he's on 10 goals from 30 games. So that's 1 in 3. And a lot of those he's not starting, because he did go through.
It hasn't been a bad season for him. And we were talking about signings. In reality, our pipe dream is to spend money and bring in players. I think what happens at Manchester United, balance books comes into it. Our youth team's in the final, play City in the youth final. So I think they're going to delve into that and go, if those kids are good enough to get to the youth final and win the youth final, let's see what's there.
Yeah.
So Obi scored the other night, Shea Lacey's still knocking about. And I think if whoever stays there will say, we haven't got 250, 300 million. What's on that youth team?
Yeah.
Who's now hitting 18, 19 that we can put on the bench?
And do you know something? There's nothing. I'd fully support that because I've watched a bit of the younger kids games this year on MUTV, and some of them do look impressive. What do you call the centre back? Kukonke.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. There was a few other guys really impressed me. I'm trying to remember the names. Of course, the
Gabriel.
Oh yeah, he's called.
I
He's
think,
quite young.
I think that'll be your backup players in Europe.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be 4 or 5 quality players. I think it'll be backup.
Yeah. The
Manchester
Fletcher boys are could be decent too. They were getting a wee bit of, but they look decent at the younger games.
And
But
JJ Gabriel too.
Yeah.
yes,
He is. Now there's talk he's the serious stuff. Like
I think there's
he's the next big thing. Forget about United for
We also
football.
bought. I've seen him playing. He spent most of the season in the academy. Diego Leon.
Yep.
Now
He was 16, wasn't he? I think, or something.
he was, or was he?
He's 18.
He's 18, but he like a lot of South Americans, he looks about 28.
Yeah.
Looks like he's a unit. Like now, I don't know. It's hard to know. He hasn't really got a look in. I don't think he's played once.
No.
He played in the pre-season friendly.
Maybe yeah.
For like 20 minutes, but before that, so they obviously don't really feel he's quite ready for the Prem. But next season. Maybe they
if
will.
you win the Youth Cup, you're a very good side.
Yeah.
And to take nobody out of that Youth Cup, what do you say to those players?
Yeah.
Where do you go with the 21s then?
Yeah.
You sell them for £1 million. So
Yeah. But you need a good youth academy. You need to be bringing some sort of players in.
Yeah, but again, I don't think it really got it along well there about JJ Gabriel, but there is talk he's like the next
I've heard.
Neymar and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do want to just talk again a bit about Sesko. And I think the important thing about Sesko is that he kicks on next season. Because Hoyland had a good first season as first season's go, and he had similar numbers to what Sesko's had in his first year. But last year Hoyland was starting every game, and you can say he wasn't getting service, but from what I seen, he was getting the ball enough in certain games, and he was having chances, and he scored like 2 goals in 30 odd games, and like that just wasn't good enough, in my opinion. It's important Sesko at least just puts up similar numbers to what he's put up this season, and it just shows that he's not stagnating. He's progressing on as a player. He's improving, adapting well to the league. So. Yeah, he's done well in his first year, but can he adapt and can he kick on next season?
When you see what he was doing over in Germany and Austria, some of the goals, like the man has a great shot on him, and we haven't really seen that.
No,
we haven't seen it.
Because
he had a shot outside the box last night that was blocked, but I remember, he kind of instinctively took it aside and he let one go. And I kind of thought, we haven't really even, and it was blocked, but I was like, I haven't really seen that from him. He scored some amazing goals before he came over to United. He's got a great shot, great accuracy. So I think there is a lot still to come. He's still young. Yeah. I just sort of feel if we were able to get a more experienced striker alongside him, like a proper striker, not a false nine.
Danny Welbeck.
You're definitely going for Welbeck here, see.
You've been talking
Unfortunately,
about Welbeck all season. Don't worry about him.
But
I'm a big fan of Danny Welbeck.
I was going to say,
that's all right.
yeah, Rory had said just before we started that he goes to some of the Brighton games. Maybe
That's a secret.
if you have if you have any contacts, you could maybe see.
He'd walk back to us, I think.
Well, he's
that's
signed
it,
a new
yeah.
contract. I'm just
We
looking
shouldn't
at
have signed a new contract. We should have been topping him up.
I'm just looking at the stats from yesterday's game. Like, they are actually pretty interesting. Like, our Chelsea had 21 shots to 4.
Yeah, three shots.
We hit the
on
woodwork.
one.
Or they hit the woodwork 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
I mean,
Shesko
the stats make it look like Chelsea battered us. I didn't really feel that they did.
Shesko only got 18 touches in 80 minutes, but it's away from home, and
And
it wouldn't be
defense that we had. I thought it was a great. I thought
the last 35 he spent in his own half, and he was trying to break counter-attacking when the guys got wide, but he put a shift in.
But you know, I'd like to see Shesko not start next week because I think he did anything wrong. I don't think that. I just want to see his goal scoring run continue, and when he comes on fresh in the second half, he causes so many problems. He has done that every time he's come on.
Okay.
He has done nothing wrong in those 2 games that I would say, but it's just I'd like to see him continue to score because scoring's a habit.
Yeah.
And,
it's not a bad shot,
and I just think that just if it's possible. Obviously, it depends on injuries and stuff like that there, but I think I think I would like to see that. I thought Ahmad, when he came on, he looked dangerous. He offered a wee bit something different as well. So I do like the way Carrick has moved him around. And chopped and changed a wee bit. But what are your thoughts, Rory? We've talked a lot about Michael Carrick over the last few weeks here. What are your thoughts on Carrick?
I'm not sure he is. I think we've tried this system before with Solskjaer, where you had a purple patch of 6 months, and he'd been at Wigan and did very little. We're going down the same channel with Carrick, who's had a good 3 months and done something at Middlesbrough. I'm not sure there's enough proven record to say, okay, we're going to trust you away to Barcelona in November in the Champions League. I'm not sure there's enough there coaching-wise to take on one of those great minds in European football. That worries me slightly. Now, I think being Manchester United, and back to the financial and the accounts, I think he's the cheap option. Because if we get a manager from Europe, we're probably looking at £4 or £5 million compensation to the club. With Carrick, no compensation. So you pay nothing. Will he want top dollar? Probably not. In terms of his agent asking for a contract, he's not coming from Bayern Munich or Porto or Ajax.
He's come from Bahamas. He was on holiday.
Well, there you go. Well, it cost him a flight to get him back.
Barbados.
So I think we're at that stage where he's the cheaper option. But we've done that with Solskjaer. And it worked slightly for a while. And then it threw up in our face. So I don't think Michael Carrick is the answer. If you're going to ask me the next question, who is the answer? I don't actually know. I'd pass that to my left.
I think actually, if you're thinking about expenses and all, I think a good option would be Areola from Bournemouth. Now, I know Bournemouth have been a bit inconsistent this year. But
he said he's leaving, hasn't he?
He is leaving at the end of the season. But like, if you see the football they play when they are in good form, they play some good stuff. Like,
has he played in Europe?
He was from, I think he's from Bilbao or someone.
But has he managed in Europe? Like?
He managed some teams in Spain, not at the top level in Europe. But I think he's. I mean, Bournemouth haven't been great this year, but they have still had their spells, and they were all right against us too. I think he's ready for stepping up to a big job, and now United's a big job. Like, but if you he's different from Carrick. Obviously, he offers a good set of football. He's leaving already from Bournemouth, so you don't have to pay Bournemouth any compensation either.
Whenever that was announced, I shared it into our United group, and just with all the eyes emojis, because straight away, he's an interesting manager, and B, like from the Glazers and Ineos point of view, they'd just be like
cheap and keen to learn.
Do we know why he's leaving?
He must just want a bigger step in his career. But
but I wonder, is there talks going on in the background?
Let me tell you, this is my dream for a new manager. I want to see Atletico Madrid win the Champions League. Diego Simeone bows out in the hay, comes to Old Trafford. I would love Simeone at Old Trafford because his charisma, and maybe the football isn't the best, but he's a serial winner too. Like, he was winning Atletico side league titles when he had Barca and Real in their reigns of dominance. He was still there winning the title every few years, and he was still up there making Champions League finals. He's a serial winner, and I mean, he gets the crowd going. Imagine Old Trafford.
I was going to say, can you imagine Old Trafford? He's a complete
psycho,
matador, psycho. Personally, well, I mean, I would take Simeone, I would take him. Unai Emery. I think could be a good choice too, because that guy is a winner as well, and he's showing it, and he's done it in the Premier League, and I think he probably would come to us. Like, I think, and he's done it in Europe. You know, okay, it's not the Europa League. He loves the Europa League,
Yeah.
but the same guy could do well in the Champions League. You know, and we've said this before. Now I don't know if somebody like Emery would want this, or somebody, you know, these foreign coaches. But I would love the idea of whoever, somebody like that, if we got him in, that Michael Carrick could become one of the assistant coaches, because Carrick could have and let him develop his role.
That'd be very hard to take a step down. Wouldn't your pride would be a
if
factor
he wants
there.
to be a manager.
But we have read before, haven't we, that Michael Carrick is, you know, he had said before he'd been at United that he not necessarily liked being the main guy.
Like,
he looks comfortable though.
I think if Carrick's happy enough, I'd love for him to step down as assistant manager, because like, I don't think he's good enough to be the permanent manager, as I've said numerous times. But I mean, after that win yesterday, you could just see this. Like, look at them celebrating, and look at him with the away fans. He's a proper. He knows the club, and like to have him around still would be brilliant. He really lifts the mood up amongst the squad.
It gets it, Killian, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's got the DNA. He's got the DNA. Yeah.
You know, if he was still had the fitness, I'd put him in midfield.
He looks fit enough. But here, listen,
he's better than Rigorda.
to change the conversation slightly.
Oh.
What did I do wrong there, Rory, from a referee point of view?
Well, from him being your friend and pull it hard enough for
You're lucky.
because
You're lucky he didn't deck you.
that's what, to me that's what happened last week. This is what I would consider foul.
do you know the background of why it was changed into laws of the game? In women's football.
Sorry, before you go into it, do you agree with that? Was it violent conduct?
Yes. It's violent conduct in terms of the target to violence. It's violence or brutality is the word now. It's not brutality because it's a tug. If someone pulled another part of your body, and you were playing football, would you be aggrieved? I mean, some parts. Somebody grabbed your nose and pulled your ear, pulled your nose. It's a.
But I would also be aggrieved if I got an elbow in the head. Like what happened with, was it Euro?
Euro, yeah.
For the goal, like the Calvin Lewin.
I agree with that one. That to me, that's a foul.
The thing about Martinez, I don't know if he was even knowingly grabbing at her, because he was up for the challenge and he was a bit off balance. You know, he didn't reach
and he got a whack
and pull
in the face
her. You know, it was more, he was off balance, and it was the slightest.
The first thing I've said is footballers shouldn't have ponytails. No offence. I don't know if you played football, but footballers shouldn't have ponytails. Second point I'm going to say is that in women's football, it became prominent. It happened too much in women's football. Every girl, 8 out of 10, had a ponytail. So they brought a law, changed the laws of the game. IFAB, who run the laws of the game, they decide all the law changes. They sit in Europe, and they decide how to change the game of football. So laws are changed. And David Ellery's the tackling director. David Ellery's the Premier League manager. Loves signing Roy Keane on. He was
Wenger on that board.
Wenger's still on it.
Yeah.
Wenger's still on as well. Willie Collum of Scotland's in it. Collini's the president of that. So all these. So women's football, it was happening every single game. So had to go bring laws of the game in and change this and say, you pull a hair, it's violent conduct, and that's what they brought into. When they brought into women's football in FIFA, they had it with men's football. It was never an issue in men's football. It just didn't happen. So with women's football being equal to men's football, it had to come in. It came in to say a hair pull, how violent it is or how easy it is, it's a red card. The referee didn't have a choice. Now VAR picked it up last week. Picked up that. In terms of is it an easy red card? It's like an orange card. It's not like a brutal tackle, but it's in the laws of the game. You cannot do it.
And is the saying of clear and obvious error still being used? Because is that not what VAR was brought in for, when there's a clear and obvious error? And therefore, in that situation, how can you say it's a clear and obvious error if it is, like you say,
he's missed violent conduct?
But you said it's kind of an orangey foul.
In terms of if you're going to level a crunch and tackle, 2-footed lunge across the knee, it's violent conduct. This is violent conduct graded at a 2, where lunge and tackle's at a 9. So
the issue is, as we all know, is consistency. To me, and I know I've got my glasses on here. To me, I see VAR at that instance needling in and being a very anti-Man United decision. When you see leading up to the goal, Leeds got the elbow in the Euro's face, and that's deemed okay. So it's just the lack of consistency, and you can show this up at the time. This was a hair pull just yesterday in the Bournemouth game. Have you seen that?
Well, I didn't see the video, but I saw the picture.
And deemed no card.
Yeah, the reason behind that, they said, was because it was a grab and let go. They said Martinez held it. This is what they said. They said he held the pull and his arm pulled back in a movement to show aggressiveness.
To me,
that
that's
one,
just...
that one they said it held and let go, and that's why they said difference in
The
one's
way-
right. Same referee, by the way, Paul Tierney.
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh,
The way I see
the
it
lack
was,
of consistency goes to new levels.
from what I can see, Martinez had his eye on the ball,
Yeah.
and his hand happens to be up here. Like he is sort of like that on Calvert-Lewin.
I don't think he even is aware.
But instead of like doing that, I sort of see him like doing that sort of, and he's just ruffled through his hair, but he takes his arm away because he's aware. Yeah, I mean it's a tough one, but
Ultimately, look, I think we can all agree. I don't think it affected the result. I think we played better. Went down to 10 men. We were already 2-0 down.
Oh yeah, no, I just like having a moan.
Yeah,
Well, I think when VAR was brought in, it was brought in for specific reasons, and I think we're watering VAR down to pick up her pulls. When VAR came in, it was never for her pulls. It was for a penalty inside or outside. It was for missing a red card, a violent contact, a sneaky elbow. That's the ethos of VAR. What has happened was we've added parts to VAR. We're now at a stage we're watching every single detail. And that's why I think VAR's losing the run of itself. I think it's a necessary evil in football.
Yeah.
I do think it's something we need.
What do you think is like the referees' fraternity? Would the high percentage of referees be for it and think it's a helpful thing? Would there be I suppose there's probably a class of referees now that haven't actually refereed at the highest level without it, probably now.
You know, over here with the League Cup final recently, and VAR was introduced, and that was a massive issue.
Who was playing? It was in that
Linfield Glentoran.
Okay.
And they brought VAR in.
Yeah.
When VAR come in, it's never been here. We don't have the infrastructure in our stadiums to run VAR.
Yeah.
We've used it in Europe, where it comes in a van, and it comes from Scotland, and they wire up the whole stadium to run VAR. I've sat in a VAR van and watched it work with massive TVs. We haven't got the infrastructure for it here, and it's very expensive.
But how did they do it then for the Irish League?
They brought
it over?
Yeah, somebody helped with the costs of it, and the cost was assisted that they allowed them to have it. I don't see it coming over here. I don't think there's a big desire over here. However, if you're a referee and you have 2 assistant referees and a 4th official, and there's a tool out there that can help you make better decisions, why would you not accept it?
Yeah.
In its raw form, VAR is very good. As I said, it's been watered down to pick up things like hair pulls. But I think we need a system with that extra pair of eyes. And we talked offline about the football video system, which has been trialled in the Under-20s Women's World Cup and on the 17 Women's World Cup.
Okay, I heard you talking about that, but I actually don't know what it is about. So what is that?
It's 4 cameras only. In VAR, you've many cameras. So they can do offside calls with the lines because of cameras all along the pitch. You need probably 10, 12, 15 cameras all over. With the football video system, it's 4 cameras only. And each coach has 2 calls.
Oh, yeah.
You could make 2 calls. We talked to, like, is it hockey or...
NFL.
NFL,
They lose a timeout. And, there's a...
So it's a more affordable system. And the lower leagues in England are looking to introduce that because it's not as expensive. And it's a form of VAR. It's what VAR was meant to be for. This new system's been trialled at the moment, and I could see that being used here. Excuse me, and possibly in Championship.
I quite like the idea of that actually, because they have that in ice hockey where you have it's called a coach's challenge.
Yeah.
And
if it's unsuccessful,
you get a penalty. So in
the NFL, if it's unsuccessful, they lose a timeout.
Yeah. So in ice hockey, if there's you'll see it happen quite a lot. There's maybe a goal scored and they think it might be offside or something, and they call it, and then it's deemed that no, it was onside, and then straight away you've just conceded a goal, and now you've got a guy in the penalty bin for 2 minutes.
Okay,
so it really, and you only get one go. But if you get it right, then you keep it. So you get a go again. So
I'm assuming, I don't think this is the case in local football. There's no goal line technology either,
No,
is there?
nothing
And again,
here.
that's a cost prohibitive.
Cost.
You know, even that,
I mean, the pay for something like that when you've only got, if you're talking Irish League football, 2,000 or 3,000 to the turnstiles, there's not the revenue spin to afford that. NIFL, the National Football League, and the IFA won't have the finances to back that up. It would be a useful tool to have it.
you'd think that I don't know, maybe I'm being naive, but you'd think even for goal line technology that like a local company, maybe they can't, maybe it's patented thing, but like a local company could do something similar from a local point of view.
Goal line technology is one of the best things we brought in.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you think,
I agree with
about
that.
you think about United and Spurs years ago, where Carroll scooped the ball back over the line.
I was,
I watched that live,
Yes,
and I'm going, "That's a goal."
Yeah, that's
and the
amazing.
referee was 40 metres, and I was 1,300 miles.
Yeah,
I could see it.
it was clear as day. Like,
So that goal line technology for that is brilliant.
Yeah.
VAR was meant to add to that, be a contributing factor to assist with it. I just think it's got slightly skewed in how we use it.
yeah.
But what I'll ask is, do you think VAR is good or bad?
I would agree with you that it's lost a run of itself, and I actually think watching a bit of European football and things, I think the real issue with VAR in the Premier League is almost the officials. I think it's done better in other leagues. I think it's quicker when you see the Bundesliga and all. There's a quicker decision. It's more concise. I think there's an awful amount of faffing about that goes on, and it has to be the officials. Wherever they are, hundreds of miles away. And to me, they're looking too in depth. If there's a penalty claim, right, they look at the penalty and then they might go, yes, it's a penalty, but then they go, hold on, we just need to go back and make sure that there wasn't a foul 30 seconds before. There's an insane, micromanagement of the footage, and I think in Europe and in Germany, it's more efficient. It's in German, it's more efficient, and I can only think it's either the directive coming from the Premier League or it's the actual officials. So I think there is a place for it, but I think it's.
I think in England the referees and the officials have almost become too dependent on it. I think often you see referees and they seem to have maybe forgotten some of the fundamentals of refereeing, because they know they've got that for any big decision or big decision they need to make. So they know they can just rely on that anyway. I just don't know. I just think it's a very good tool. It is very good, but again, I think it's become too over reliant on by officials. And I think again, as you did say, looking too in depth. I was watching the Merseyside derby there today, and Everton scored the first goal in Jay. Brilliant goal. The entire stadium erupts. First Merseyside derby goal at the Hill Dickinson as well, and then they go back and maybe you could say this time around it was offside.
It was offside,
but again, it's just such slim margins, and I mean you're getting robbed of those lifelong memories just by centimeters. I just don't like it.
Do you know the thing though about that is what's really interesting about this is, right? See that explanation you give us there. That actually helps me understand. Okay, I came into the women's game, and they're considered the same. Okay, fine, understand that then. So a hair pull is violent conduct, red card. But then when you see something like that picture where it's happened this weekend at the same referee, and it's not violent contact because is it a her pull or a her tug, or do you know what I mean? Is that not where they're going into? It's either if somebody has it, should not just be if you grab someone by the hair, because then you're how do you judge force from a distance?
To me, that's more deliberate. The guy's running away from him and he reaches, whereas Martinez is up, he's not looking and he's unstable.
If I was to take the headset off, I went over to Gags and pulled his hair, pulled him off the seat, would I be violent to him? Would that be violent?
Yes.
And in laws of the game, it says that is a violent act. Now, in terms of it's a real hardcore violent act or it's just a soft violent act, but it's a violent act. So to pull Gags' hair would be me showing violence here tonight. So therefore, it's a red card.
But why is that guy not a red
Well,
card?
it's just.
Well, that's one's a still picture, and still in videos are slightly different
pull it
because you
up
get
here.
manufactured. So in terms of that,
Cam of the game, guys. What game is it there?
Bournemouth against Brentford, was it? I think.
Bradford against Fulham.
Oh, sorry. Brentford against Fulham. Sorry.
just when you're doing that, can I just add about people my age would say about football being manufactured now because of VAR, that it's a stop-start system. When we watched football in the 70s, 80s, It was raw, it was fast, it was undiluted.
Yeah.
And somebody made a decision. And we go back to things like Kevin Moran, FA Cup final, Everton, 85, where he was the first player to get sent off in an FA Cup final. And that referee made the decision in 5-6 seconds. There was no video call, there was nobody in his ear, there was no even mics then. He went, that's a red card. We didn't need somebody in a van to describe it, to detail it. They went, it's a red card. That was football at its raw stage. It's made a decision, send him off. Now that's a big call to send the first player off in an FA Cup final. And he made the call that day. Nowadays, that would have took us 2 or 3 minutes to get to that same decision. So football's been manufactured slightly because of it. The game's changing.
Yeah, well, and that's where, I think the goal line technology was a fantastic bit of technology that, and I think everybody agrees with it. I think so many fans would vote for VAR to go.
Yeah.
Or some type of technology to replace it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some diluted version of it.
Because the thing about it is, because VAR was meant to be brought in to take away what was seen as terrible decisions. But all it's done is create a different type of terrible decision, because people are like, oh, how has VAR said that? Or what, and so it hasn't replaced that. It's a different type of,
I don't think we'll ever see a
decision.
game without technology now.
No.
Yeah.
While the referees using mics or buzzer flags, it's technology from the older days. But referees made decisions in the 80s and made them quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they always get them right? No, but they got a good lot of them correct.
And in fairness to referees, I'm watching the highlights here. I'm hoping it's going to show it. In fairness to referees, then though as well, this amount of scrutiny they're under now with social media and even the TVs and every angle. Because even back in the 80s, they wouldn't have had all the angles they have now. You know what I mean? So you couldn't show up.
Well, there was very little cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 70s, the match of the day was on. You had the big match on a Sunday afternoon. They televised the FA Cup final and the League Cup final. You didn't need 50 cameras at a game. So we didn't have a lot of football to watch. Therefore, you watched it once. You might have got one replay. Now you get 10 replays from every angle.
And then you have every angle from the stands as well.
Well, that's
all the cameras in the stands. I'm wondering if this is actually going to show this incident, because there's
depends how significant in the game it was. Was it a controversial call, or was it just a irregular call? Or
it's only a 2-minute video, so I'm working my way through it anyway. But it will be interesting to see it.
I think if I was a young supporter now, I won't know any different.
Yeah.
If I was 15 and started to watch football, I think VAR is the norm. It's always been here since the 70s. And that's how football operates.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch old clips, you in particular, Killian, watched the clips in the 70s. Mm-hmm. The standard of football pitches, you watch football and it was fast and furious. And now it's slightly more frustrating to watch.
Yeah, and in terms of being slow and frustrating to watch, what frustrates me a lot when teams are in counter-attacks, and we've seen it a few times last night, even from both sides. Teams are in counter-attacks and they get up to the box, and instead of maybe looking for a pass in or going themselves, they slow down and they turn around and they pass back, and the team sets up defensively and it's just passing around the box. And I say that so much times. I see it every single game I watch. And it really frustrates me. It really annoys me that players aren't quicker with passes in, or playing players through.
That's what I'm talking about with
chances.
Shesko. Put the ball in early, because even if he doesn't connect or get a goal, you're creating chaos. So if you've other people around the box, put it in, and it creates. It's the first time ball, first time football. It's very hard to defend whenever you're quick, and if you faff about and start recycling and. All you're doing is giving the opposition time to set their line.
Do you not feel like coaches are telling them to keep possession?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. We keep it and we hold it, and you wait for that. Man City do it very well.
Yeah, they can do it.
30, 40 passes.
Their level of, we're not quite.
So I don't think wingers don't exist anymore, where you go down the wing and you whack the ball into Sesko or somebody trying to hit a goal. Coaches are telling them, don't do that.
Yeah.
So can I blame the player or do I blame the coach?
No, it's the coach. I'm not blaming the player. It's very much the coach. It's how we're being set up. Yeah. I think they should be told, put the ball in early.
That video you have there of that, it's kind of slow motion. I want to see it not in slow motion.
Well, it's not. You can see it. There's actually, it's actually.
It's, you know, it's in slow motion.
It looks almost like a slap.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can I ask you a question? In the current Manchester United form, do you think Dwight York and Andy Cole would score as many goals in that team we have at the moment?
They wouldn't be getting the ball.
Yeah, they'll be in the graveyard shift as well, because we're just playing a different style.
If you don't feed the Slovakian bear, he doesn't score, and he
So
gets hungry.
Slovenian
Slovenian, he gets hungry.
So it's very hard then to say. You asked about Sesko. Is it Sesko's fault or is it the delivery's
No,
fault? Because
if
those two guys won't score goals.
Yeah.
No, it's very much the system's fault, and that's why I was a big fan of Rasmus, and I thought Rasmus could have still done something for us. We weren't. I know you thought he was getting chances. We weren't creating chances, and that's our problem. Now we're creating more chances this year because Cunha and Mbeumo are like the year before with Rasmus. He had Garnacho. He had Garnacho trying to feed him, and Garnacho was just he wasn't. He was just shooting, and he was just greedy, and he wasn't very good. I think, and look, if we have another decent, like we had 4 decent signings, I think last year, if we manage to do the same again, and you never get a 100% success rate before signings. I think we weren't far off it last year, but if we can get another 3 good signings who are like become first team players, then we will be improved. But we still need to have a good depth for European football as well. And the likes of Xerxes could come into his own in Europe. Because we've taken him from Europe.
100%.
Rasmus was doing pretty well.
Yeah,
in Europe
he was very good in Europe
in his
too.
first season.
So I think Xerxes actually, I do like him. I think he's got great skill, and he's a big guy.
He's lovely
you know what
hair
I mean?
too.
Yeah,
Lovely
that's it.
pullable hair.
But
I'm balling long hair.
he's not a striker. And whenever we got him, he said, "I'm not a number 9. This is not who I am. I'm not going. He's not the sort of player who's going to score 15 goals. But if he starts playing, he could score 7 or 8. He can contribute, and I think he has been sort of criminally underused by Carrick and probably by Amram too.
And I don't want to change the subject here too much, but I'm going to. I was watching. I was kind of watching the Arsenal. Man City game today, and I don't know. It kind of bores me too. But what game? No, but I just don't like watching other teams. But what I did think about as I was watching it was like how relaxed I felt, because I remember this time last year watching the games and actually just hating watching the games because it was just so frustrating. And I was like, why do I keep watching this? You know what I mean? And
did you see the Gabriel and Holland?
No, I didn't see it. No. Wait, what I heard it was potentially a
headbutt. Well, he missed him, but the intent was very much he brushed his forehead.
Was it violent conduct?
Yeah.
Well,
they were locking heads, and then he went like that, raked them down his nose, and they both got a yellow card. I thought the referee copped out.
And when Pep got so angry, he got a yellow card because he
so
went
he
over
got
to the fourth
too?
official and he started making that motion with his head.
Okay.
I
It
thought
was very obvious.
I thought it was a disgrace. It was a clear. Here's the thing, and I put it into our group. So Martinez, because of his allegedly violent hair pull, which was very subtle, got a red card and a 3-match ban. Gabriel does a headbutt and doesn't get a red card, and crucially, doesn't get a ban.
Did VAR look at it?
No, I don't think they did.
But
I
just-
don't think they did.
Because the ref, they didn't say it. They didn't say there was a check. The
No.
referee, and surely they
Was it check everything, like?
Surely they had checked it.
Because he's deemed it to be reckless, but it's not
but the-
violent. Because I'm trying to third case the what the referee's thinking. There was no contact, as in terms of the maybe a rub of the head, but it didn't force back and into him. And I'm thinking what he's probably went, well, then it's not violent conduct, therefore it's a yellow card. If he makes contact, it's a red
You
card.
see if somebody goes in for a dangerous tackle, 2 feet showing, and doesn't make contact, he can still be sent off for it, can't he?
This is the inconsistency within refereeing that most majority of fans find very frustrating.
Yeah.
And we've touched on 3 or 4 examples here tonight
Yeah.
where the inconsistency comes in. And if you go to Europe, that's probably a red card in Spain or Italy. And it's the same laws of the game applied. It's FIFA's laws of the game apply universally. But the interpretation is what happens amongst referees, and there shouldn't be interpretation.
The environment as well plays a part. Like that game there today, big
But it
game,
wasn't
big.
City. It's not as if it was a home decision. He should have
No,
sent
but
the
it's a
Arsenal
big
player off.
game. Like, you know, it's one of those games where, well, again, not to revert back to ice hockey, but once you get to playoffs, referees kind of put their whistles away because they don't want to affect the outcome of the game, which kind of sounds stupid because it's like, well, you call it all season. That's why you call it all season. You should call it like that. But there is that thing.
There's
you
a
know?
thing we talk about game management.
Yeah.
You know, you can make a knee-jerk decision. Some of the ones you can't avoid, like a dogzo, or, you know, denying Navas' goal scoring opportunity or violent conduct. You can't ignore those. But there's game management as well. And he's maybe trying to manage that process. Is it factually correct that he did do according to laws of the game? Maybe not.
Yeah, it's a show mate here now. So yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing about it, right?
Look at that again.
But here, yeah, do you know what though? But I like that.
That's what Rory Keane said.
But I like that. I like that. You know what I mean? That's the big forward, the centre defender getting stuck in each other. You want to see? I mean, I'm surprised because you can't get away. You normally can't get away with that.
If that was Martinez or Casemiro did that, they would get a red card.
But I don't think there's a conspiracy against United. Somebody who's been a United fan for 50 odd years, I don't think it's a conspiracy. But I've one referee head on slightly. In terms of, I also think referees are all honest and everything else.
But like, it was a wee bit like we were talking there about that Leeds game. Like I saw at the time as well. I saw when the ball came in and Calvert-Lewin had contact Euro's head. But even I didn't think for a second that should be called back because I thought to myself, like, that's just a football play.
Football.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't take that out
It
of it.
was 20 years ago, Stephen. Football's changed, and we've talked about the dilution of football.
Yeah.
You watch any of the matches.
That doesn't make sense, and because
You watch
20 years
something
ago.
called the big matches, ITV4 rerun games, and you watch
mad,
the
like.
football. You watch the tackles.
Yeah.
You know, go
Proper
back
tackles.
Wimbledon, Man United, the tackle.
Wimbledon, the crazy gang.
There's tackles in that
Yeah.
game there.
Have you watched that one where it's the Wimbledon and Man United? It was a Monday night game.
No.
I mean, FA Cup game, I think it was. Dennis Irwin scored that night. And look it up and see. You'll get
It's
some
mad.
sort of-
Canada's thrown in the air with
Thrown in
a
the
2
air.
foot. Yeah. And there's
Finny
a charge.
Jones and-
That was a yellow card. He took him off 2 knees off him.
And Canada didn't seem bothered. He was just like,
Oh, no, well, he got up and he shrugged his shoulders and fixed the collar and got on with it. Like, but that was the king, you know. He could do things like that.
Yeah, it's a different game, but and it's not for the better, you know. And we all know the players in Premier League, they're throwing themselves about and holding their faces, and it's just the game has totally changed.
Is that a society thing? No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's just in football. I think society slightly changed as well. You watch some of the Gaelic players now take an odd knock and they're going to ground trying to pick up a free because they get it.
I did see actually a clip earlier from a hurling match, and there's just a player doesn't get hit at all and completely falls to the ground.
If the hurling players are doing it,
It's nowhere near enough now. It's not on the level of
No.
football again.
It's still there.
It's creeping in
It's still
society.
creeping in. Yeah, it's creeping in.
And it's creeping. And I think when you watch referee doing games years ago, it was black and white. Now it's 15 colours because it's just changing football. And when you watch the old games, that United and Wimbledon back in the day, you could tackle, you could.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It was barely a yellow card.
Yeah. It's wild, like. Wild.
So football has changed, and because of football's changed, refereeing's had to change.
Yeah.
And because we're more advanced in 2026, technology has to play a role.
Yeah.
And you'll probably see AI in football somewhere in refereeing in a couple of years' time. It's just technology's going to come in.
But I actually really, and this new thing here, and the fact that teams have two times where they can actually call, and I think that's brilliant. I think that will limit the amount that VAR gets interfering with the game.
I think you'll always have VAR. I think this comes in. I think it'll come into maybe youth football, like in under 19 European matches, World Cups. I said, well, you'll not see it this World Cup and the next World Cup 4 years away. They'll tweak it and tweak it and tweak it. We've seen now the World Cup final's going to have a 20-minute break.
Half-time show and
half-time.
And there's water breaks, isn't there? There's water breaks.
Yeah.
That's just a way of creating advert
revenue.
That's it.
and it's just Americanization.
And so when I talk about football being diluted from me watching it in the 70s, the dilution continues. And will I recognise football in 10 years' time? I don't know.
Yeah.
From when I watched it in the 70s, and we talk about technology, 1976, we played Southampton in the FA Cup, and Bobby Stokes scored the winner. It was near the end of the game. To this day, I still think it's offside.
Okay.
But with no VAR, I don't think there's even fourth officials back then.
Yeah,
There was nothing. And it rankles me 50 years later that was offside.
Yeah.
But we accepted it because there's no technology. You couldn't argue. Referee says it's a goal, it's a goal.
It's like when Thierry Henry handled it and
Handball.
put Ireland out of the
Ireland.
thing.
On the line.
Now,
Obvious.
I haven't moved on and I haven't accepted
No,
it.
no, I'm the same.
But
the
yeah,
same.
but you know, VAR would have been great then.
Do you know the Northern Ireland comedian? What do you call him? Shane Todd.
Yeah.
He had Patrice Evra on his show
Uh-huh.
last year, and then one of the first things he said to him was, "I need to talk to you here about this French game." And he was like, why didn't you say that, Henri? You know, like you could have said something to him, like, you know. And, but also, I remember, like, was it the 2002? Was it with England? Whenever the ball,
Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard. I mean, that
Yeah.
was
Like,
crazy.
straight away was
Yeah.
another one. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
and then the referee and the linesman to give
But
it.
we could pick out here 40 goals or not goals or penalties, you know, people diving and getting away with it. So that's what VAR come in for.
Yeah.
But the system I'm talking about and VAR, we're both in the raw system. We'll dilute every new system we get.
Yeah.
When you get it, let it sit. Let it work. But we keep changing. They're now talking about her pulse. Shouldn't be in the conversation.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah, well said.
Well, what about next Monday night? Is it next Monday night?
Next Monday night.
Brentford.
Do we risk going live after it?
I think we have to go live next
Yeah.
Monday night. We have to go live.
Well,
Rory's
Monday night
shaking his
games.
head. He's like, "Don't do it,
What's your
guys."
what's your record? Many
Plus-
lives?
I think have we done 5 or 6?
I don't know, but they're not good. It's not.
No, I think we've 1 win.
Yeah,
And
Please
4 or
don't,
5.
please don't go live.
yeah, I know.
It's
Mate,
particularly bad. Like it is particularly.
It's
bad.
just because normally we're recording a Monday night, and therefore it just works, you know. And so we were recording a Monday night, but then like why I was kind of wanted to record tonight, this being Sunday night, because we found the last game, whatever the last game was maybe it was a Friday night. Was it a Friday night game? We had do we have a Friday
No,
night
it was
game?
late.
Leeds on Monday.
We did Leeds.
No, but a couple of games back.
Bournemouth on Friday.
Bournemouth on Friday, and then we didn't record to the Monday night. And by the time it went out on the Tuesday morning, it was kind of like old news. So, I think we'll do. So we're playing Brentford. Do we have any Brentford fans locally?
Not sure.
Can't think
I'm
of
not
any
sure.
anyway.
Do you know any Brentford
It's
fans?
No, I've obscure ones. I've QPR fans and Derby fans and Birmingham
Brentford,
City fans. I don't think I'm really that mad. No, I don't think so.
It's the first time we played Brentford since we started this podcast, so it's not like we've had anyone on previously either.
Okay.
Oh, a new team, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also go look and see if we can find someone remotely online, a Brentford fan club or something.
Well, if anybody's watching this in the next day or two, and you happen to know a Brentford fan
Yeah,
locally,
locally, brilliant. Yeah.
just let them know.
Because it's class having people in the studio because it's different. Like, I mean, it works pretty well with the remote, but it is a different vibe in the studio as well. Like,
So you've done 6 games, you've lost 5, and you want to risk it again.
yeah, but you know,
If you get beaten one, they'd expect a picket line outside your house on Tuesday morning because I'll be in front and centre with a banner.
Yeah, I think we need to discuss
no, we're going to
this.
do no. There's no discussions going on. Listen, we have to, you know, sometimes you just have to dig deep, and I think no, we're gonna do it.
We were talking about this before. I think we should honour.
I know it's roasting.
We should honour. Just have a wee mention of Rory's scarf because it is top notch. Tell us about that.
Golden oldie. Bought this 1977. And those days we bought badges. We'd have bought small badges and we sewed them on. I was 11 when I bought this. So any game I go to, or anything I go to, I take my scarf with me. Now, you can see Lou McCarry. Yeah, Lou was a great player.
Yeah.
Technically in 1977, he talked about scoring the winner, but it came off Jimmy Greenham's chest.
Okay.
If you remember
okay.
the final. And what was significant about that was Liverpool had won the league a few days before, and they
Okay.
played on the Wednesday night in the European Cup. So they were going for the treble.
Okay.
And it was 3 goals in 5 minutes. We stopped them from getting the treble in 1977.
Fantastic.
But Lou takes the credit for it. If you ever see the goal, it was going wide and it bounced off Jimmy Green's chest.
Okay.
And again, you take everything that's going.
Yeah,
You took
yeah.
it. And that was Jimmy Casey scored for them. So we won 2-1. And then we stopped them from winning the treble, which meant we wouldn't have been the first to win the treble in 99. So this is the badges. And the only badge I put on it was the Leon 2004. It was it was Alex Ferguson's 1000th game,
Okay.
1000 game,
Yeah.
and I bought one just outside the ground. The other one was Roy Keane's testimonial. Roy's testimonial was that one as well. It was massive crowd come down. Yes, massive. Oh, that took thousands down to a testimony. About 20,000 come down from
Right.
Scotland.
Wow.
And the only other pin on is the Munich one,
Okay.
and that was
Yes.
around one of the anniversaries. The rest of the old badges, I don't think you can buy badges like that anymore. What things like this say. So when I go to games, this has been with me near 50 years.
Right.
Well,
And of course, I noticed the badge says Manchester United Football Club.
yeah.
Yes.
And I think wouldn't it be
Yeah.
great? Wouldn't it be great if for one of our tops, not all of them, if one of our tops had the word football.
Sure,
club.
we're moving away. We're moving to this logo now. It doesn't even say Manchester United
I know
anymore.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not. It says MUFC, so it's not even. Yeah.
doesn't
Although-
say anything.
Yeah. Well, so it's mine
a
says
devil.
I mean,
MUFC,
if
yeah.
you look at Gags' kit now, sleeves, both chest, here, if seven, we talk about the older ones. I mean, this is just the replica of 77, 76. There was nothing on it. Now, there's an Admiral sign here. There's nothing on it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all they had on it. And you've seen the kit for what it was.
Yeah.
And in the 76 final, they wore tracksuits. This is the tracksuit that then became the jersey. They wore red jersey underneath their tracksuit at the time. And it was simple. And this jersey lasted 2 or 3 years. It was red. Oh, that was your away kit. Now we've 3 kits, training kits, 4 kits.
They seem to have new training kits about 7 times a season.
Yeah.
If
You
you,
know-
if you go onto the Chinese websites, there's 10 other ones
Yeah.
that aren't that real, but they look really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think money's changed football. Pre 1992, it was a simpler game. When Sky TV brought money into it, brought the foreign influx of footballers. Has it improved any since that? I don't know. I mean, it's more money involved in it now.
We bemoan the recent lack of Irish talent, and because growing up and for over the decades, there was always like good Irish players, and maybe it's just. I wouldn't say it's a sign of the talent's not there, but maybe it was because of the influx of Europe, so many European and so many foreign players coming to the Premier League.
In the 70s, when I started, you had Mick Martin and Jerry Daly. Paddy Roach was the reserve keeper. Now, they made fun of Paddy Roach. These are names way beyond the day. But you had Sammy McIlroy, D. McCreary, Jimmy Nicholl.
Yeah.
He's on the 21s in Northern Ireland. Well, there were 6 in the squad.
Yeah.
Now, you think the squad was 11 players. Only 1 sub in those days. There wasn't a squad of 25.
Yeah.
You're already 1 sub.
Yeah.
So you had 12 every week. I mean, 6 of those
Yeah.
are players from here.
Yeah.
So the difference in Irish influence now doesn't exist.
Well, that was something I meant to talk to. We had Pat McGibbon in here a few weeks ago. That was something I meant to ask him about, actually, about the Irish players going across the waters. And is it not happening as much anymore, or be interesting to know in the United.
The competition's harder. When Ashley Grimes and players went over, the competition was only from Scotland and Wales and England.
Yeah.
Now the competition's from South America,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Asia.
Yeah.
We're signing players from Chile.
Yeah.
See,
it is,
Uruguay.
You're competing against the world.
But
you know.
but in
yeah.
the 70s, you compete against 3-4 nations.
Yeah.
That's all you had. So we had a brilliant Irish influx.
Yeah.
Irish influence in Manchester. And Frank Ford was actually a manager here as well. I know a short period of time, but also an Irish manager. And people forget we had an Irish manager as Manchester United.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an Irish influence there that's nearly forgot
time.
about
Was
sometimes.
it an Irish owner too? Was your man?
The one before the Glazers,
What do you call him? He had the
horses. He owned the
Horses.
horses.
Well, he wasn't. He was a shareholder.
McManus.
Yeah, JP
JP.
McManus.
Is he Irish? Oh,
Yeah.
he's
Yes,
sure.
yeah.
Was that JP McManus on United?
I don't think he
No,
owned him.
was it Mal McDermott? Or Dermot was at Salford as well,
Felix
was
was
it?
someone else. Yeah.
JP McManus.
He had a significant shareholder, and he didn't own United, but he had
Aye.
like 20% or something.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
But the gone are the days now where you get all the Irish players. I mean, even the 70s, Arsenal had 6 or 7
yeah,
Irish players. The national teams were probably playing for United, Liverpool and Arsenal.
yeah.
And now you don't have that Irish influence. So young players do go across, but they're competing with the world.
Yeah, and sure, we're just talking about even the young players who are making it at the underage levels at United.
Can't even get a game.
They're not really getting into the team.
Yeah.
So, so even if you're making the cut at that level, it's just so hard to
Is
get
Shea
in.
Lacey Irish grandparents, or they qualify for
Apparently he
Ireland?
does, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, would he qualify for Ireland then? No.
I think he's meant to. be able
Yeah,
to, so.
well, that'd be great. Yeah. Calling him up now,
Well, listen-
get him playing.
Let's bring us to an end here now. Next week we need predictions, so it's going to be, like I said, we'll start with Rory, saying he's a guest here tonight. Rory, you get to make a prediction on what's the score going to be next Monday night against
I
Brentford.
think confidence is back up again. The back line seems settled. I'll go for 2-0 win.
2-0 win. Very good. Like that. Killian?
Yeah, I mean, confidence will be settled again. And I think, we still have to wait 9 days, but it's not like a double-digit gap. And I think we'll be able to retain a bit of momentum more easily because of that. But I'm not expecting an easy game whatsoever. I think it'll be very similar to the Chelsea game. Although, in saying that, I mean that as in it'll be tight, but not too high scoring, because I think Brentford are very good defensively. But I think we'll win still on home turf. I can see a 1-0 win. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think we'll grind out a victory, and that's going to be the important thing.
Gex, what's your
Just
thoughts?
checking. Brentford have lost one game in their last 12. Their last 6 games, 5 of which have been in the league, have been a draw. So they are draw specialists. So
Who do we play recently?
We're-
Who's a draw
we're-
specialist?
I can't remember, but I think it's going to be tough. I agree with what Rory says. I think we're going to be, I'm hoping confidence is going to be back up again. These guys, they're on level on points
Yeah.
with Chelsea now. So, they're a real deal. They have to be put away. I do think we can beat them, but I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I think 2-1.
Damn it, I was going to go 2-1 as
That's
well.
all right. You can go 2-1.
Yeah. Got to go
But
2-1.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
They're 1 defeat in 12 games. They are.
Killian said earlier on, they're not a bad team.
They're not a bad team. No.
Yeah.
No.
Don't underestimate them.
No.
And well, just
What are you going to go for?
1-2-1, 2-1. Yeah. And just before we finish up, I know so many of them. Actually, there's a part of me almost feels bad for Spurs fans at the moment. What? Like,
Dog eat dog
Yeah.
in Premier League. See ya. All the best.
I don't think.
Just what there is.
All the best. Do you know something? I think they've got a decent manager in the Serbi now. He might have come in too late. So even if they get relegated, they might
mean,
get back
mad.
up. But the
I mean,
championship, talk about dog eat dog. The championship is dog eat dog.
I mean, listen, I do have sympathy for Spurs because they're not like Arsenal or Chelsea or City or Liverpool to us. I mean, yes, maybe of course there's the fellow Big Six thing there, but they're not rivals to us or anything. So I always have had a bit of sympathy for them. But number one, they took the Europa League title off us last year. So I don't know if that was a blessing in disguise for us, but
It could have been.
it definitely could have been, in my opinion. But they still beat us in that final, which is embarrassing for us. And number two as well. I mean, listen, to see a Big Six team get relegated, like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to happen here. That would be a once in a lifetime thing. And I'm sorry, Spurs fans, but I'd love to see that happen to a Big Six side. And I think it would be a very cool thing to experience next season too.
1973-74, we got relegated, and we were laughed at, ridiculed, probably by Spurs fans.
yeah.
So I've absolutely no sympathy. and I'm
That's a Spurs,
and I'm
right?
not angry. I know it's 1973-74, but I can't let it go.
Have Spurs been relegated before? Have they?
They have been, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they have.
yeah.
So,
Not from the Premier League, though.
Well, we won the
Not
second division.
in
We
the-
won
in
the
the
second
modern-
division straight up, so we're okay.
I don't feel sorry for Spurs or Spurs fans because something, Ange Postecoglou,
I
by
won them
beating
a
us,
trophy.
they won them a European trophy, and the lack of respect
Yeah.
that the ownership and the fans showed, they thinking they're better, they deserve better, they deserve. Postecoglou did that, and yes, he was as bad as we were in the league last year, but also had injuries and things as well. The fact that they just let him go, they deserve everything they get. So I have no sympathy. And I'll tell you something as well. How delightful would it be for Spurs to be in the Championship next year on Man City when they finally get a 60-point deduction and get automatically relegated.
Don't hold your
Never
breath on
going to
that.
happen.
Can I have a quick question?
Yeah.
It was Spurs' last 5 games. Don't know who do they play? I'm just
Tell
curious.
you
Is there
now.
enough points there for them?
I think the second last game thinks about a Chelsea.
So,
Can you
okay.
imagine Chelsea were the ones who relegate them?
Here we go.
Away to Wolves,
The Wolves. Yep.
away to Villa, home to Leeds, who are playing good, away to Chelsea, and then at home to Everton.
Half them are winnable, the other half are.
Yeah.
But hold on.
No,
They haven't
no.
won a game. They haven't
No.
won a game in like 14 games or
They
something.
haven't won a game in 2026.
Yeah,
No, no.
yeah.
No.
And we're near May.
It's who they are, mate. That's a terrible Ange.
I tell you, Saturday they play Wolves at Molineux.
They'll beat
I
them.
thi-
I think
But they have, when you're saying that,
wouldn't
but
be
they haven't
surprised. I
beaten
think Wolves
anybody.
beat them. I think Wolves beat them in
Haven't-
Molineux.
I actually, like, to be honest with you, I think the Hammers deserve to stay up.
If
I
West,
would much
if
rather
West
see
Ham
what-
beat Palace,
tomorrow night, I think that's it.
and it's at Selhurst Park, so I don't know. But if they did beat them,
It's a
then
massive
the
game.
gap between 18th and 17th will be 4 points.
Yeah, massive game.
So
That-
there's daylight there now.
It's squeaky bum time for Spurs fans for sure tomorrow
There's
night.
daylight, and that's going to be get the popcorn out.
If they go, they go.
Yeah, yeah.
If they die, they die.
Port Vale will bring a big crowd to the new stadium, so it'll be great.
Well, here, listen. What do you call him? Sir Jim needs to point out what happens when you move to these new stadiums. Look who's at the bottom. The bottom four. Two teams have moved to big stadiums for money to get better. Do you know what I mean? Look how long it's taken Arsenal to win a trophy.
To finish second.
To finish second. You know what I mean?
Straight.
The movement to big stadiums. So, what's your thoughts on the circus tent?
Fix the holes in the roof for a start. I think you deserve to pay 80 quid and get showered on. I think that's
that
wrong.
has been fixed though.
They put a bit of sticky plaster or something over
Aye.
it, perspex over it. I think it needs. It's an old stadium. It's still the best stadium in England.
Yeah.
Best stadium to visit. I think you need to invest on it. Would I want to invest in the stadium all in the players? No. Players first, stadium next. So I'd rather see a new striker, 2 new midfielders, centre half, and I'll worry about the roof another time.
Well, I saw a few minutes of that Everton game against Liverpool today. First derby at the Hill Dickinson. I'm sorry. I that game there just lost something. Like Goodison Park was always like
Yeah, they need a
great atmosphere.
They
Like,
need to redevelop Old Trafford. Redevelop
yeah.
it. Find a way.
But they're not going.
One of the last games we were over at Old Trafford. We didn't get over this year, but it was last year. What worried me was
Crystal Palace.
Oh well, no, it was one of the. It wasn't that one there, but I was sitting, and just where I was, it was like a drip constantly coming down. And what started worrying me was, it wasn't a rainy day. So I was like,
what
I
is
was like, what the hell is this?
You're talking about stadiums. I want Main Road, Manchester Derby, but 95, 96. Proper old school. It's like Ewood Park. There's housing all around it, red terraced housing, working class area. And it was a proper stadium. Kippack stand, and the atmosphere was amazing. And Giggs scored 2 each. Reeve Rosler scored, and Hank Cantona scored. And Giggs got the winner about 10 minutes in the end, and the place we
Who did?
Giggs.
Okay.
Left foot, it's a super goal, 2 each, top corner. And I'm in the Man City fans. So my mate, loving the atmosphere, forgot himself and wanted to jump up to celebrate. And I got my thumb in the corner of his jeans, and he jumped that hard, I ripped his jeans right down the seam. And he got up, I goes, where are you going? Oh, I forgot. Then we're going. And they were outside, the rat outside, but it's a proper stadium. It was old school stadium. It was all rusty girders holding a stand up. Proper stadiums. Then they moved to the library, and
Yeah, so that's the problem, and that's why Old Trafford can't be knocked down. They can't. There's too many memories. You know,
But it's going to be. It is going to be. Like, we have to accept it. We have to accept it.
I don't know about that.
I hope it's not.
Yeah.
Hope it's
So do I. Well, listen, Rory, thank you for coming. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bit of a sauna in here tonight, but I hope you enjoyed it. And
I got to talk about Manchester United. What's not to enjoy?
Yeah.
Thank you much for the invitation.
Yeah, no, absolutely delighted to have you in. It's interesting to get the insights on refereeing points of view.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say the next time we're doing a live watch along and there's a contentious decision, we'll get him on.
Yeah.
We'll get him straight on.
Sounds good.
Phone me.
Rory be in the bar. Like, I'll talk to you later, lads.
we could do a live watch along of the entire match, and anytime he's in standby, and he'll drop in for a minute to explain it, like they do in the Sky Sports.
That sounds good. I like that.
Oh,
I like that.
talked myself into a job here, haven't I?
Right, listen, that's us for tonight. We will be back again. Our next show will be live next Monday night against
God help us all.
afterwards about Brentford. But until then, from all the lads here in the studio, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. And come on, you Reds.
The champions!
You're not going to say it, but I'll say it. Glazers out.
Glazers out! I like it.